Hello, welcome back again. Today we are looking at a deck request from, I believe, Gizmo. I'm not 100% sure, I'd have to check that. But yeah, he wanted to see a Simic Mowu deck, focusing on Mouw, Loyal Companion. He also gave me the heads up about Hadana's Climb, which I was looking for but couldn't find. I just was searching the wrong things, right? And we're also kind of focused a little bit on the Proliferate. He did want to see Dive Down, and we could use that in lieu of Shall I Voice of Plenty. But what's better than giving your creature hexproof for one turn at instant speed? Give them hexproof forever, right? It's a little bit more expensive, but it's got a lot longer longevity. And again, if you don't have Shall I Voice of Plenty, you're not looking to spend rares, just toss in those dive downs. So, we have for our 1-drops 2 Llanowar Elves, and this is just adding a forest. We all know that, I'm sure. We have 4 Grateful Apparitions. So this is a 1/1 flyer, and whenever it attacks it or deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, it's proliferating. So that's super helpful to boost things up. Just because I do want to add a blast zone in here because you can proliferate your blast zones, which is a huge help. Moving on in our 2-drops, we have Incubation Druid, and we can tap this and produce a land of any that we already do control. And when we have a counter on it, it produces 3 lands. So that's really cool. And you can adapt and put some counters on it for 5. A little bit expensive, but if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. To get around that heavy drop though, for 5, we have Pollentbright Druid, which will put a counter on him. So then he can tap for 3, right? Tap for 3 on turn 3, that's great. Sorry, excuse me. We also have Merfolk Skydiver, which is essentially doing the same thing without the option to proliferate. So we're going to always put this token from these 2 cards on our Incubation Druid. Moving on, we have Simic Ascendancy. So this is really great too because we're always proliferating, and it does allow us to put a counter on something for 3. But whenever 1 or more counters is put on a creature you control, put that many growth counters on Simic Ascendancy, right? So if we have 5-6 guys out and we're attacking with our Grateful Apparition, we're going to be getting 5-6 counters a turn, right? And then at the beginning of your upkeep, if Simic Ascendancy has 20 or more growth counters on it, you win the game. So it's a little cheeky. I'm not sure this would fly in ranked. It's just going to get mortified immediately. But we're here to have fun, right? Prison Realm, moving on to our 3-drops. It is exiling target creature or planeswalker until it leaves the battlefield, and we're getting scry 1 out of that. We have 4 Gifts of Paradise. This is just giving us a little bit more land freedom, seeing as we do have 3 colors, and gain a little bit of life too against those burn decks. And we're also playing with Hadana's Climb / Winged Temple of Orzhov. And at the beginning of your upkeep, put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control, and if that creature has 3 counters on it, you transform the climb into the temple. And then moving on to our 4-drops, we have 2 Shall I Voice of Plenty, flying, and you and other planeswalkers you control have hexproof. And then also for 6, we can put a token on each other creature we control, so that is also syncing up with our Simic Ascendancy, right? So we're keeping the dive down effect, and we are now gaining that late game mana tap for counters, right? And then we do have our start of the show, Mouw, Loyal Companion, Trample, Vigilance. If 1 or more 1/1 counters would be put on him, put that many plus an additional counter on it instead. And then finally we have Wilderness Reclamation. So this is just untapping all of our lands at our end step, which allows us to spend Simic Ascendancy. We can use the Merfolk Skydiver Proliferate, right? We can even do the Adapt on the Incubation Druid if we need. yeah, so it frees up a little bit more land just to get the adapts in, so on. I was experimenting with Frilled Mystic as a counter instead of Prison Realm, but we haven't figured out the transfer yet. And then, last but not least, Biogenic Ooze for 5. When it enters the battlefield, you create an Ooze, and then you can also tap for 4 to create an Ooze. And then at the beginning of your end step, put 1/1 counter on each Ooze you control. So this links up with Wilderness Reclamation as well, because we can just Ooze out of town. We're adding the lands, suggesting lands down to 62. And we are going to go ahead and drop a couple forests. So this is, I did include some sideboard cards, but I've not got there yet. I was talking about how much harder Best of 3 was with a friend, and he notified me that I guess 97% of all Magic games are Best of 1. So it's 3% of people that are playing Best of 3, and those 3% are probably very, very adept at this game, if you will. So there we have it. Simic Mowu, and I've termed it dominance, like dominance, but with a G. Dominance. Yeah, so I really hope you enjoy this. Yeah, I played it a little bit yesterday, and it is actually a lot of fun. We've been playing in ranked with it, getting wins back to back even, so a lot of fun. Eeg Tarot. Yeah, okay, so this is not a bad start, not a great start. We're counting on draws to win the game, but we can obviously open up with a Blast Zone since we don't have a... Well, actually, I'm going to put my Blast Zone third, just in case we do draw an island. We can get right into it. Okay, so we had a Mulligan and a Scry. Pop our Druid out, and then we are going to probably get that extra mana going. Putting a token, and now we actually have access to this. I'm not going to Gift of Paradise my Blast Zone, because we're probably going to destroy it. Okay, Growth Spiral is a pretty cool card. It allows you to play an additional land and draw a card, so it just speeds the whole process up, I suppose. Okay. Put our Climb out. And of any color. That's actually a lot of fun. We'll toss this bad boy out. I'm actually going to throw it on itself. Right? Keep that flyer nice and heavy. 2, so we could Blast Zone for 1. Pop our Druid up. We're just spreading the tokens at this point. We don't have Simic Ascendancy out, so we're not necessarily collecting. Yeah, that's pretty rude. One, two. going to 4. We're going to let him play. Is it round 4 or 5? 3. Oops. So we'll put our elf out. Just taking a little bit of damage here. Again, not so much that we can do with this. Again, just because it's 3 and we powered up to 4, which we shouldn't have. If we draw another blast zone, we'll be protected, but that's definitely our bad. I'm actually yet to build a gate deck, believe it or not. We're going to take this right on the chin again. So we could pop our Mouw up, right? Just needed to give this a little pooch lifelink. Where I hit our friend pretty hard there. Oh, we lost our incubation druid. So we have hope, correct? He will need to kill us this turn, obviously. Not much you can do about a flying dog. Yeah, so he's got lots of cards available. He'll need to counter an activated ability, though, or destroy a land. That would do it. Non-basic land, I suppose. Yeah, so we will go into our blockers, put the Llanowar Elf there, and hopefully we got no battle tricks and we win the game here. Right? He could have a flyer. Even a shock would solidify my death. I'm assuming he's got red available. We do know that we have to keep our blast zone at 3. Could have easily wiped his field and won the game. Okay, drawing that card, but it won't do. Give him the old hello and the old good game. Thanks for playing, Niche Taro. Really appreciate it. Huge shout out for Gizmo, or to Gizmo, for kind of engineering the Hadana's Climb with the Mouw Loyal Companion. I know you said you're not good at building decks, friend, but this works great. So, big shout out to Gizmo for the sick deck. I'm definitely looking to take other deck requests. If you have a general idea, I'd love to build around it and really flesh that out to the best of my ability and showcase it just like this Yeah, I'll definitely give you a shout out for coming up with it, and such as Mr. Gizmo did. So we're locking in victories just like that. Triple red shell? I'm not so sure. Great land draw, and we actually even have Wilderness Reclamation. Triple red shell, yeah, absolutely. That's probably a pretty cool name, I suppose. Reminds me of the shell game where you're picking the ball or the item from under the cups or the shells, and they're like moving them around really quick, you know what I mean? Probably fix this up here so we can see my hands a little better. My camping trip was pretty successful, I suppose. The campsite wasn't near the national park or anything, so we didn't have access to any like really cool hiking, etc., etc. I'm gonna pop this into full screen really quick. I'm not sure why my sound's not firing on the game. It is, but just barely. I'm gonna turn it up. Still doesn't seem to be firing correctly. Yeah, definitely our turn though. So we will start with our shock land into our full land. Yeah, I guess I'll even just go into the Llanowar Elves. And that'll give us access to 4 next turn, so we can maybe throw a Reclamation out. Or we can double Skydive, potentially. So we've got Arch of Orzhov. Draw a card, activate only when you have Cease Blessing. Yeah, we're going to start with our Merfolk, pop up our Mana Hunter, and we're just going to get an attack in, right? A little extra damage. Alright, so we have a seal away. I believe he's going to take our Llanowar Elf, which is by all means fine with me. Not a high priority target at all. Sorry, I'm going to put my phone away here. It's pretty loud. Okay, so we're into another land, which is ideal. I'm going to go as far as paradising our forest there, and we're saving this to proliferate. Really want to get that proliferate in. I'm thinking that I almost need a draw card engine within this deck because we're just powering up so quickly that I would like to power up into some sort of draw engine. Okay, a plains that is starting to become less than ideal. Put a token on my friend. And yeah, we'll just get Wilderness Reclamation out of our hands. I'm attacking here. We're untapping. And I should be able, maybe not because Summoning Sickness, but I should have been able to proliferate. Right? Use that right here. So we're submitting 2. Resolve. Okay, so this is so far past good. Right, just the Blast Zone open. I actually will attack with everything because he's so low on life. Right, and this will actually allow us to proliferate again. The only thing we are missing is Simic Ascendancy. I almost like to count the counters. So 5, 6, 7. Immortal Sun is ridiculous. We're taking our Blast Zone to 6. Right? We absolutely have to remove Immortal Sun. Almost more so than History of Benalia. First and foremost, we are putting a token on our Merfolk here. And I may as well put out the Grateful Apparition. We're going next. Our Flyers will attack, actually. So 4, 8, 12, 14 would be we would be at. I think this might count as well. Okay, good game. So we're starting to see the power. Oh my goodness, my screen's not right. Let me fix that for us. Sorry about that. I hope we still got to see the battlefield at least. My hand was probably blotted out there, unfortunately. We are just going to pause for a quick minute. I'm going to hit the restroom, and I'll be back, and we're going to get this third win. Alrighty. So we are back. I'm still worried about my audio. I'm gonna have to check that afterwards. So when we showcase these decks, it's actually kind of hard to get the combo that we're looking for off even when, let's say it's a 2 or 3 card combo and we're running 4 copies of all those cards, it might take 4 matches, 5 matches to even see those cards. Never mind get them played in succession without removal, etc. So we're placing a red burn deck, which is not good for our starting hand. We've literally nothing to ramp on, right? This is going to be a quick round. I'm feeling we don't have enough life gain for this, especially not any in our hand. Okay, this sounds working a little bit better. So we are seeing a potential mana screw. We're going to put it on ourselves to try to keep our mana, right? So you might want to shock our 2/2 instead of the Llanowar Elves, which is actually ideal. So our opponent is completely mana screwed, which is amazing for us. We're going to take the turn to pop down Hadana's Climb. Still no land for our friend. I feel bad at this point. So Grateful Apparition. Hopefully there's no removal. And let's put a token on the old-fashioned way, I believe, here. Hopefully he's no shock available. He absolutely does. So we're actually going to put a counter on him, take him out of shock range. Right, give him the old oops. A hello, good game. And we can put our Incubation Druid out, put our Pollentbright Druid out. We are putting a counter on him for more mana. That's that. So, that's a red deck that got completely mana screwed. We've actually been rewarded today by the Magic Gods. We've seen really nice matchups. Esper control seems to be fading, which is really, really nice. We have Wilderness, Reclamation, and Biogenic with a 4-card ramp up, so we're just looking for 1 additional land, preferably a Plains. Hopefully we're not seeing another red deck. Okay, the Incubation Druid is really nice. We'll get our Blast Zone out. Into a Druid. Into an attack. We have 4/5 next turn. We are oozing out, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely oozing out. Yeah. Could see a lightning strike here. Okay, a Gruul Spellbreaker. Hexproof plus Riots, which he chose as a token. Yeah, we're gonna put another Ooze out, which is just obscene at this point. What do you do against that? A really good start. Connection lost. That's unfortunate. Did he have a lag switch he flipped on us, maybe? Oh my goodness. So, I'd like some explaining. What was that? Where's my win? Woof. I get a Mism tank. We've actually been looking for those, which is really cool. So it's a crew 1, so you can crew your Firebrand out of it if you want, and 3 to a trample, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, it just becomes an artifact creature and gets +1/+1, so a 4/3 until end of turn. Really cool. So yeah, again, if anyone can explain what just happened to me with that connection loss issue, really curious to know.